Okay, so the metric to check India's preparedness for the Asian Challenge obviously comes first with the squad, right? You want to see who are available to you, who are the personnel available to you. We'll now switch our attention to the strengths of the squad as we continue to do a SWOT analysis in terms of India's preparedness for the Asian Challenge 2023. We begin with the strengths, and the biggest strength, of course, that comes to mind is the top order. Now, offline, we've been having these conversations. They could also turn into potential weaknesses, but these three men are tasked with giving India the perfect start in not just the Asian Challenge, but also potentially the World Cup. Saurabh, do you look at it as the biggest strength for India?
Well, it remains India's biggest strength, but it depends how we execute it. Because whatever I've noticed in the past, that in crunch situation and big games, ICC events, is the top order that has faltered. So that is a big learning for the Indian top order, and they should understand that for India to do well, not only in the Asian Challenge, but also in the upcoming World Cup, it is the top three or the top four to a max that have to fire on a regular basis, and more so in important matches. You know, against Pakistan, I can understand all those crunch situations. These three top guns, so to speak, they need to deliver, especially Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. Both of them have got abundance of experience. Shubman Gill, whatever he has shown in the past, couple of seasons, we have termed him as an all-format player. But this is the time for this youngster also to come good and shine for India.
Of course, the Asian Challenge will be in Sri Lanka for India, where Virat Kohli's got great numbers, closing in on 1,000 runs. Rohit Sharma has obviously hit that 264 famously against Sri Lanka. So we know what they can do. But what about Shubman Gill? He's had some great numbers over the last couple of years since he's gotten opportunities in the 50-over format of the game. How crucial is he amongst these two gentlemen who are already trusted with doing a job for Team India?
Oh, he's very important. We've seen this change in जैसे रोहित शर्मा पहले बैटिंग करते थे, जहाँ पे वो शुरुआत आराम से करते थे, उसके बाद बड़े शॉट खेलते थे. नाउ दैट यू हैव शुभमन विथ यू, आई थिंक वीव सीन रोहित ने वो अपना बैटिंग चेंज किया. वो कोशिश करे कि शुरुआत से बड़े शॉट खेलते हैं, विच मीन्स शुभमन इज क्रिटिकल इन मेकिंग श्योर ही प्लेज दैट एंकर रोल फॉर इंडिया throughout this ODI series, throughout the Asian Challenge, and also throughout the World Cup. I feel a lot rests on the shoulders of Shubman Gill. I know he's young. I know he's just coming to the Indian team.
No pressure.
No pressure. But it's the expectations that he's, through the way he's played and how he's evolved, that he's created. The expectations I have from him and the whole of India has from him, because he's shown and he's proved to us time and time again कि जब वो रन बनाते हैं, बड़ा रन बनाते हैं और कंसिस्टेंटली बनाते हैं. और खास करके सब कॉन्टिनेंट कंडीशंस में जहाँ बॉल ज़्यादा स्विंग नहीं होगा, सीम नहीं होगा,
बैट पे अच्छी तरह,
वहाँ पे ही इज़ अ वेरी डेंजरस प्लेयर, क्योंकि उन्हें रोकना बहुत मुश्किल है. सिंगल रोटेट कर पाते हैं और उसके बाद जब बड़े शॉट लगाना शुरू करते हैं, वो कहते हैं ना मक्खन वाला शॉट मारते हैं. आप एक्सपेक्ट नहीं कर रहे हो कि छक्का मारेगा, और नॉर्मल क्रिकेटिंग शॉट में छक्का मारते स्लॉग नहीं करते. सो आई फील ही इज़ रियली इंपॉर्टेंट टू हाउ इंडिया ट्रेड्स फ्रॉम दिस एशियन चैलेंज टू द वर्ल्ड कप, बिकॉज इफ शुभमन गिल इज फायरिंग, it reduces enormous pressure. It reduces the pressure enormously on Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma.
Okay. So numbers mind-boggling है. 70 की एवरेज है, 400 है, 6 अर्धशतक लगाया है. इसीलिए मुझे लगता है कि उनके रन बनाने से या उनके प्रेजेंस से जो उनके साथ साथ जो प्लेयर्स हैं, चाहे वो एक्सपीरियंस प्लेयर्स हो या यंगस्टर्स हो, वो भी और ज़्यादा खुलकर खेल सकते हैं, क्योंकि एक और सॉलिड बेस आपको मिल गया है इस समय.
We have a similar solid base as far as our bowling is concerned, particularly pace bowling. Got a good experience of good mix of experience and youth. There's Jasprit Bumrah we've spoken about already, Saurabh, but there's also Mohammad Shami. There's the youth of Mohammad Siraj, Prasidh Krishna, who's come back into the fold after impressing in the T20 International Series. What do you make of this strength for Team India?
Very strong pace bowling component. Now, this has opened up a number of opportunities for Rohit Sharma. If he wants, he can go in with 3 genuine quicks. He can get in Mohammad Siraj as the third seamer. In case Mohammad Siraj is not bowling well, you can bring in Prasidh Krishna. I think with Prasidh Krishna getting fit, it really opens up a number of possibilities, yes, for Rohit Sharma, but also really adds to the striking force of the Indian pace bowling contingent. In any case, you have Mohammad Shami, a strike bowler par excellence, then you have Jasprit Bumrah. We have seen what he's capable of doing. Plus, in backup, if you have someone like Mohammad Siraj and Prasidh Krishna, it just goes to show that this is a complete kind of a pace bowling attack. Because on one hand, you have Mohammad Shami and completely the seam bowler, plus you have Jasprit Bumrah, loads of variations, plus pace. You have Prasidh Krishna, who hits the hard length, generates that bounce, plus Mohammad Siraj, who can seam the ball, plus he can get the ball to swing in the air.
On to spin bowling, Kuldeep Yadav, क्या वो strength और add कर सकते हैं इस टीम इंडिया के एशियन चैलेंज में?
देखिए, जिस तरह से गेंदबाजी कर रहे हैं, और हाल ही में हमने देखा वेस्ट इंडीज़ श्रृंखला में जिस तरह से उन्होंने दोनों फॉर्मेट में T20 और ODI में जिस तरह से गेंदबाजी कर रहे हैं, सी फॉर मी इट्स क्लियर When Kuldeep Yadav is bowling around that 85-90 speed, and if his ball is drifting and in the air, it tells you that he's bowling terrifically well. We saw him do that constantly and consistently in the West Indies, especially when he was bowling at the likes of Puran. Someone who's in top form and who's at the peak of his powers. You could see the control he had. So I feel Kuldeep Yadav is really important. Now that Chehar's not there, I think Kuldeep Yadav is even more important. And the good part is that he is someone who's actually doing well. So when Kuldeep's self-belief is high, he's an absolutely different bowler because he's confident. We saw him bowl in the power play as well, which tells you that Kuldeep Yadav is now evolving into a bowler where Rohit Sharma says, "Yaar, mujhe teri zarurat hai, power play mein dal." He'll come and bowl because now that is a trust that the Indian team management is showing in him, and that just tells and the reflection of the kind of performances and the kind of bowling he's been doing.
We're doing a SWOT analysis, right, of India's preparedness in the Asian Challenge before the big World Cup comes in our very own backyard. Let's move on to the weaknesses potentially for Team India in this Asian Challenge. So I'll leave the house open to you guys. Potential weakness for you in the squad in the Asian Challenge. सबसे पहले आपसे पूछता हूँ.
If we go by past performances, then your strength happens to be your weakness also. And I briefly touched on that, Anand. I feel that it's India's top order till number 4, maybe number 5, you can add that. These top 3-4 batters, they need to get runs at the right time for India. And when I say right time, it means crunch situations, it means big games, it means big events. And I think one is the Asian Challenge, but more importantly, the World Cup coming up. Whenever we have faltered, be it in the Champions Trophy or in ICC events, it's because of our India's top order has at times been very brittle against top quality bowling attacks. So I think one has to be aware of that and then work accordingly. For me, that is a big component. The other area of concern for me has been at times we become very tepid in the middle overs when we are bowling. I think you need to have, that is why your balance or your composition should always contain attacking bowlers who can do a similar kind of a job even in the middle overs, from 11 to 40 overs. That's the crucial period in one-day cricket. If you happen to have attacking bowlers, then Rohit Sharma as a captain can rotate those attacking bowlers and still look to pick wickets instead of getting into a defensive mindset by having defensive bowlers in your lineup.
तो थोड़ा लेफ्ट आर्म पेस से बच के रहना पड़ेगा भाइयों अगर एशिया के लिए अच्छी तरह से प्रिपेयर करना और साथ साथ विश्व कप के लिए भी. Let's move on to another potential weakness. Not having a settled batting order perhaps. We've tried different combinations. We tinkered with the batting lineup quite a lot in the ODI series against West Indies as well, where you had a few people missing. But now when most of the people have come back into the squad, क्या एक settled batting lineup का ना होना एक potential weakness हो सकती है?
देखिए मेरे लिए शायद वो weakness ना इतना सा बड़ा वीकनेस नहीं कि आप सेटल नहीं, क्योंकि श्रेयस अय्यर 4 पे बैटिंग कर चुके हैं, केएल राहुल मतलब में बैटिंग कर चुके हैं, आपने देखा कि हार्दिक पांड्या भी 6 नंबर पे बैटिंग कर चुके हैं. सो दे ऑल बैटेड इन दोस पोजीशंस. सो फॉर मी द बिगेस्ट कंसर्न और वीकनेस, as an optimistic Indian, I don't want to say weakness, but potential weakness, a concern is the fact that very similar type of players. When you look at your top order, barring Shreyas Iyer, who can play big shots from the outset, everyone else is someone who will take his time before they play big shots. एक हमारे पास हार्दिक पांड्या थे जो पहले आके स्पिनर को पहले बॉल से लप्पा लगाते थे, लेकिन अब वो भी नहीं करते. वो समय लेते, उसके बाद बड़े शॉट खेलते. सो आई फील having right-handers, although it's not so much of a concern, but Indian condition में जहाँ घूम रही है गेंद और आपके सामने लेफ्ट आर्म स्पिनर है, आपके पास लेफ्ट हैंडर कौन है? रविंद्र जडेजा. उसका मतलब आपके पास हार्दिक पांड्या जो 7 नंबर पे बैटिंग करेंगे. सो आई फील that part of it is a bit of a question mark, because then if KL Rahul and Virat are batting together, who's going to be the aggressor? जहाँ पे आप चाहते हो कि ठीक है एशियन चैलेंज में अगर हेल्पफुल पिचेस है, इट मे बी ओके. आप वर्ल्ड कप में जाओगे वे आर लुकिंग एट 300-350 पार, वहाँ पे जो एक्सेस 10 रन, वो एक्स्ट्रा 10 रन आपको कौन देने वाला, और वो इंटेंसिटी और वो इंटेंट के साथ कौन बैटिंग करने वाला है. सो फॉर मी इट्स बैटिंग ऑर्डर से ज़्यादा similar type of batsman may be a bit of a concern.
Now, just a quick reminder, we're doing a SWOT analysis of India's Asian Challenge. We'll now move on to the O in SWOT, which is the opportunities. Now, just a quick reminder of what the opportunities. Of course, a big opportunity is the fact that we're playing the Asian Challenge in subcontinental conditions. But most significantly is the fact that we've got Shreyas Iyer coming back. The number 4 conundrum could be sorted out. A huge opportunity for India to really say, number 4 is not a problem in this World Cup, in this Asian Challenge.
Yeah, absolutely right, Anand. मुझे लगता है कि श्रेयस अय्यर अगर वो नंबर 4 पर खेल रहे हैं, इसका मतलब है वो फिट हैं. सबसे बड़ी बात है कि दोनों केएल राहुल और श्रेयस अय्यर के ऊपर टीम मैनेजमेंट और चयनकर्ताओं ने इतना ज़्यादा भरोसा दिखाया है. That itself instills you with so much of confidence. And I really hope that Shreyas Iyer and KL Rahul both deliver, and whatever conundrum we are talking about, whatever fragility we are talking about, all that goes away, and then India is in a far better position to lift the coveted trophy.
You go with Shreyas Iyer as well. Look at the number 4 candidates over here. You've also put in Akshar Patel because we saw a glimpse of him at number 4 in the West Indies ODI series. There's Tilak Verma, who's given himself an audition in the T20 International series. There's Surya Kumar Yadav as well, who brings a bit of an X factor. For you, number 4 being cemented in the Asian Challenge, could that be a huge opportunity for India?
Well, I think in terms of opportunity, I believe it's Shreyas Iyer, and I feel it shouldn't be an opportunity for him. I think it should be a place that he owns.
That should be an area of strength.
So that O is for ownership, and I hope that Shreyas owns it, and I think the management should look at it that way. Because at this point, if you're still looking to pick your number 4 out of this Asian Challenge, then you're in trouble. Because you want to go there thinking, he's my number 4.
Yeah.
उसके बाद जो है वो मेरे replacement है.
Yeah.
अगर Shreyas Iyer injured हो गया तो ही. बट आई एम बैकिंग हिम क्योंकि ये मेरा घोड़ा है और ये मेरे लंबे रेस का घोड़ा है जो खेलने वाला है वर्ल्ड कप तक. तो अगर यहाँ पे अगर आप अपॉर्चुनिटी देख रहे हो कि क्या केएल होगा, क्या सूर्या होगा, कि ये होगा, नहीं. अगर श्रेयस है, अगर श्रेयस ने शुरुआत की, उनका फॉर्म जितना भी खराब हो उनको बैक कीजिए. क्योंकि एट दैट पॉइंट यहाँ से आप जितना भी चेंज करोगे यू विल बी कैचिंग योर ओन टेल. और आप जब आप वर्ल्ड कप पहुँचोगे तब आपको ये नहीं पता हो कि मेरा नंबर 4 है कौन. आप प्रे कर रहे हो, आप विश कर रहे हो कि ये मेरा नंबर 4 प्लेयर हो. But I feel whoever number 4 is, and for me that is Shreyas,
okay,
then Shreyas Iyer should be and should own number 4.
Fair enough. So you heard it from Abhishek Nair in particular that despite the number of number 4 candidates that you might have, the O is not for opportunity. The O is about Shreyas Iyer's ownership of that number 4 position. Now we move on in our SWOT analysis to the threats that stand in the way of Team India's preparedness for the World Cup. And of course, it begins with the Asian Challenge. And I'll leave it open once again to you. In fact, no, I'll tease a little bit over here where I'll say, is injury management, is workload management a slight threat for India? Because at the end of the day, they're also looking at the fact that there are people coming back from long layoffs into a format which is not a T20 format, which is not crash bang wallop. They'll have to settle in and play a longer role.
That is so true. I mean, that is the biggest threat for India. They are still testing waters with KL Rahul, Shreyas Iyer, even Jasprit Bumrah. Mohammad Shami, although not unfit, but he's coming back after some time. Prasidh Krishna. So these 4 players, the selectors and the team management, they would be looking at them very closely and would be hoping that all of them remain fit. So that remains a big threat for India. If this injury thing is sorted, Anand, मुझे लगता है कि टीम हमारी काफ़ी ज़्यादा मजबूत है. और अभिषेक ने सही कहा कि नंबर 4, नंबर 5 ये 2 पोजीशन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है भारत के लिए. 2 खिलाड़ी हमारे पास हैं. अब यहाँ पर ये बात सोचने की नहीं, अगर एशियन चैलेंज में इन दोनों ने रन नहीं बनाया हम इनको बाहर कर देंगे, ये बात नहीं होनी चाहिए. अब आपको ये कह देना होगा कि both these 2 positions, the number 4, number 5 as a batter wicketkeeper for KL Rahul, these 2 are fixed slots for my World Cup side. So there is no changing there. So let's hope and pray that injury की वजह से और कोई दिक्कत सामने ना आए.
You change my opportunity to ownership. Are you changing threats to something else?
Let me think about it. but I honestly feel in terms of threat, you mentioned workload management. I think it's a big thing because you're going to play a lot of high intensity games. It's not about आप बड़े मैच खेल रहे हो लेकिन आप पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ 3 मैच खेलोगे. मतलब आप जो एफर्ट 100% की बात करते हो वहाँ पे 200% एफर्ट होगी. तो कहीं ना कहीं फॉर मी द बिगेस्ट थ्रेट इज हाउ यू गोइंग टू मैनेज हिम. मैनेज जसप्रीत बुमराह, मैनेज श्रेयस है बैट्समैन के लिए शायद ओके ओके, बट केएल राहुल को आप कैसे मैनेज करोगे क्योंकि वैसे भी कंसर्न्स है इंजरी के. विकेट कीपर बैटर तो दोज आर कंसर्न्स. नी प्रॉब्लम के बाद बाहर आ रहे हैं तो आई फील दोज आर कंसर्न्स फॉर मी. एंड फॉर मी गोइंग इनटू एनी बिग टूर्नामेंट, एशियन चैलेंज हो या फिर वर्ल्ड कप हो, इंपॉर्टेंट है कि वहाँ पे ज़्यादा बदलाव ना हो. वो जो टीम आप इमेजिन करो ना वही टीम खेले क्योंकि द चांसेस ऑफ यू देन ऑप्टिमाइजिंग एंड अंडरस्टैंडिंग पोजीशंस ईजियर होते हैं. तो मेरे लिए वो एक बहुत बड़ा थ्रेट है क्योंकि अगर केएल राहुल इंजर्ड होते हैं एंड ईशान किशन कम्स इन द मिडल ऑर्डर, देखिए डायनामिक्स चेंज होते हैं. बाद में फिर लॉटरी है क्योंकि आप जानते हो कि उनके नंबर एज एन ओपनर अलग है, उनके नंबर एज अ मिडल ऑर्डर बैट्समैन अलग है और वो पसंद भी नहीं करते. तो सडनली आपने यू आर प्रेइंग होपिंग विशिंग कि ईशान किशन आएंगे और रन बनाएंगे क्योंकि वो लेफ्ट हैंडर है, हमको लेफ्ट हैंडर की आवश्यकता थी, वो आएंगे 4 पे रन बनाएंगे. सो फॉर मी द बिगेस्ट थ्रेट इज प्लीज कोई इंजर्ड ना हो, सब फिट रहे और जो इंपॉर्टेंट मैचेस है वो आपके इंपॉर्टेंट प्लेयर खेले. जो इतने इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं, मैचेस सब इंपॉर्टेंट है बट जहाँ पे टीम आपको लग रहा है कि ईशान भी खेल सकते हैं तो वहाँ पे वो रोटेट कीजिए क्योंकि आप चाहते हो कि जब आप वर्ल्ड कप में आए इस एशियन चैलेंज से आपका सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट टीम और जो बेस्ट टीम है वो खेले.
A very special offering coming to you live on Jio Cinema on every India match day during the Asia Challenge, where we will be bringing you discussions, analysis, fan interactions, and a whole lot more with our star-studded lineup.